For me, knowledge exchange is about that two-way reciprocal process. It's about using research to make a difference to the wider community, and I love the way that I'm working on the remote medieval past, but I'm still making a difference to places and communities and people today. But also what's crucial for me is that genuine knowledge exchange has the potential to transform my research as well and to take it in new directions.
If you talk to people and find out how they live, you are also giving them ways of seeing what they're doing. You are changing the way they think about themselves. You're not just out there gathering knowledge, you're also out there changing the way people act and behave.
Recently, I've been involved with a project with local schools and colleges in generating short workshops about an hour long about my research, and they've asked me to do various different things. One focused on superheroes in contemporary films, one focused on racial representations, and one was about different types of masculinity in Hollywood. Being involved in this project has really changed the way I think about my research because it's made me think about it from different perspectives and different contexts. When I was asked to do the workshop about superheroes, I thought, well, my research really doesn't relate to superheroes that much, but then when I started thinking about some of the action heroes that I've been focusing on, I thought about Zorro in particular, and how he really is very close to a superhero, and it made me think about my research in terms of the context of the new superhero film trend.
My PhD is looking at religion and gender in Jewish youth groups, and as part of this I've been looking at Scouts and Guides. I'm also involved with a Scout group here in Southampton, and one of the things that I've been doing with them is doing activities from the 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, just to see which activities are entertaining and appealing for children today. One of the key ways that working with the Scouts has helped with my research is just by telling me exactly what it is that Scouts are interested in, what is it that boys are interested in. Obviously, as an adult, it's that I can remember what it was like to be a child, but it's difficult to really bring that into my research. So working with the Scouts has helped me to gauge the popularity of certain activities, which has in turn helped me with my analysis.
Lots of my research relates to medieval place and identity, and also to connections between medieval places and modern communities today. In Chester, I was involved in a public art project at St John's Ruins. We had significant matched funding from Cheshire West and Chester Council, as well as the funding from the AHRC. And our aims were to share the research we'd done on medieval literature and culture in Chester, and also to regenerate the St John's site. I worked with the artist Nain Kulkarni, and we produced a light-based artwork which projected fragments of the medieval texts we'd studied across the ruins of St John's. It also opened up lots of new questions and directions for my own research. I've been looking at the ruin as a site of imaginative engagement with the past in early modern Chester, and I found some really interesting materials. It's also got me thinking about different modes and idioms in research. As academics, we can think with our imaginations, and we can use creative and practice-led routes into our research.
Cantum Pulcheriorum Invenire is the title of the project, and this is a study of Latin poetry and music between 1170 and about 1330. What's so exciting about the project is that in addition to the usual kind of things, monograph, online database, we've actually got a collaboration with 3 of the best early music singers in Europe. This meant that we were able to conduct workshops at a leisurely pace rather than the breakneck pressure that we usually associate with professional performance. And it also meant that not only did we transfer our knowledge to the singers, but we had a great opportunity to get them to feedback to us on the nature of the music they were singing, the poetry that they were declaiming. And this had an enormous impact on the way we now think about this repertory and the way we write about it in the monographs and articles that come out of this research.
We had this terrific knowledge exchange project with the Imperial War Museum and the Ministry of Defence, looking at the role of languages in war and conflict. I was specialising in the NATO involvement in Bosnia-Herzegovina in the 1990s. We interviewed a lot of the military and we talked to quite a lot of the MOD personnel and also worked with the Imperial War Museum. Basically what we wanted to do was to look at what the policies and the practices were in relation to language in the military. And what we found was that they don't really relate to the idea of policies. They very much relate to the idea of practices. And we were able to discuss with them the practical issues that they faced on the ground and the kinds of lessons that we could draw from their experience that could help to inform them in their future reflection on their own practice.
I'm the project leader of the HERO-funded project Creativity and Craft Production in Middle and Late Bronze Age Europe. The basic premise of our project is the investigation of the development of new materials, in particular textiles and bronze, and the ways that they were worked with in the Middle and Late Bronze Age to create new things like colour, pattern or texture, and also to look at established materials like ceramics and to think about how they were worked with in new ways. We've been working through knowledge exchange in a series of different ways. The first of these was with student makers, the second was with established makers in a maker engagement project, and in both of these cases we were looking at the ways that the Bronze Age can act as inspiration for the present. And on another level, we've been working with the heritage sector to look at the ways that creativity and understanding creativity can bring new dimensions to understanding of the past in heritage environments. I think also that knowledge exchange for us has not been a kind of tokenism. As I said, it's been part of our research programme from the start. And that has created a level of intellectual provocation which I think we could not have gained for us by sitting within our own disciplinary boundaries.
I think researchers should get involved in knowledge exchange because it allows you to see the impact of your research in a really real way straight away. We're used to sitting in front of computers or working with documents and a lot of the time inside our own heads, and it's great to see the research having an impact straight away.
Why researchers should get involved in knowledge exchange is because you get this fantastic exposure to your research that you would never otherwise get by simply publishing a monograph, an article in a refereed journal, or in a collection of essays.
I think researchers should get involved in knowledge exchange projects because it adds an extra element to your work and it helps really to make your work relevant to the community, and it helps to make the community relevant to your work and places it really within that context.